Jay Simons Morning Blend. I have two of my favorite critics. They're looking at me like I'm crazy right now, and I am going crazy. Janelle and Tony, and we're going to talk about Tuesday with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And she's got the picture up. I'm going to let Tony go first.
Look, it's a beautiful, excellent portrait of the five stages of grief, our view of death, and especially, how we accept it. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was great, but Lola Pettigrew really kind of stole the show for me. It's a very difficult role, and they both captured the tender and the heartbreaking moments very well. It's heavy, it's emotional, but I also found it uplifting and surprisingly empowering as well. It's a hard viewing experience, and it'll definitely resonate and be triggering for those that have lost a child. But I also think as after some time has passed, it'll be a necessary viewing experience for those.
Janelle?
It was really good. It was really beautiful. I enjoyed the imagery of a parrot, not to, spoiler alert, a parrot as death, as the bringer of death. I told people after the movie, if that's how death appears, I'm going with you. We're having a good time. That's great. Yeah, I thought it was very heartbreaking. I think it would be triggering for people who had lost a child. I do think it is very cathartic movie. I would give it probably a good 3 out of 5.
I'm going to go with a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a great movie, and I thought it was a really interesting take on death itself and how you handle it. I agree with you, Tony. There are different stages in death, and losing a child is something that most parents don't want to feel or even expect to begin with. I think Julia Louis-Dreyfus did a great job on it. The other young lady, what was her name, Tony?
Lola Pettigrew.
Lola did a great job. She was absolutely fantastic. There was very few supporting cast. We're going to leave the parrot alone. Tony, what would you give it?
4 out of 5 as well.
4 out of 5. There you have it for Tuesday. Now we're going to move on to Inside Out. It is Inside Out 2, and I'm going to talk about it first. Make room for new emotions. Man, there were so many emotions in this thing, and I started thinking about myself, how many emotions do I have? Janelle's going to tell me one, I know. But anyway, talking about Inside Out, a lot of people that the first one was better than this one. This was my first Inside Out. And one of the things I thought about it was with all the emotions and all the action that was going on, I thought the kids would enjoy that. But as far as figuring out the emotions and what was going on, I kind of think it went right over the head. Janelle.
Went across pretty well as far as kids go. I think kids will understand. It might give them a word or an association to what they might be feeling at the moment. I will say, I think it did a great job for quote unquote normal kids. I think somebody with anxiety, it really did trigger a lot of things in me watching it. Some good, some bad. I don't feel like I'm a good person to kind of really be the kind of person that needs to be watching this movie. I didn't really enjoy it, but I understood the point it had for kids. So I did try to take myself out and just assess it from that. So I would have given it probably a good 4 out of 5.
Real quick, Tony.
That was a fantastic top tier return to form for Pixar. We talked about, the original 5 core emotions, but the complementary ability of the new emotions was fantastic. Maya Hawke's anxiety was great. I loved Ayo Edebiri's envy, a couple other emotions as well. It had a beautiful message for kids and adults both. It really kind of showed us how all the experiences we have make us who we are, not just the good, but also the bad. But it also really showed that anxiety, for some that don't understand it, how it's crippling and truly can be overbearing for some and take over everything else. But hilariously clever. There's a segment involving like a fourth wall breaking children's show that just had me in stitches because I watch those every day with my kids. So that was really clever. But I loved it. 4.5 out of 5 for sure. The fans of the original are going to be very happy.
Janelle, what would you give it?
I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay, they say 4.5 out of 5. I'll give it a 3.5 because I still say, I wasn't. The first one was probably better. Thank you so much for watching Morning Blend. Have a great weekend.